welcome to the Kryptonaut Podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me as always is
Chris Gonzalez
and
Rob Morphy.
Thank you for joining us. Social medias, Instas, Twitters, and Facebook. Check us out there. Patreon, patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. You can contribute
For the special secret sauce that you just don't get over the normal airwaves, as it were.
Wow, spicy queso. I don't know. What is it? What's
I
the
had
sauce?
a flashback, actually, before we continue the rest of the introduction, last week of us going to Burger King for Chris when we said we would like 2 Whoppers with cheese, and the woman asked, would you like bacon? And we said, no, we would not like any bacon. And she said, 2 Whoppers with cheese and bacon. And then Chris was like, no bacon! It was pretty great, actually.
I do recall that.
And then me chastising Chris like,
She
hey,
was
man,
fucked up.
I have to go to the window and be like, hey, sorry, no bacon. It was pretty good, though.
How do you misinterpret that?
You clearly said no bacon.
I know.
We all said
That's what I'm saying.
in unison, no
I'm like,
bacon. And then
it's
she's
true.
like, bacon?
We
It's
did
like
it
saying-
in harmony.
We
It was
did,
a chorus.
yeah.
That's
It was
good.
perfect.
So that's going to be like 6 pounds of peas. And I'm like, no, that's not even what I said.
Wow.
Pounds of peas.
You guys
Yeah,
remember
Wow.
those fucking frozen peas with those baby fuck-sucking onions? I don't even know why they were
Yeah.
put together in a bag.
yeah, it's
but
garbage.
it was like a bag
Blasphemy.
of mouth punishment.
That was the
sucks,
devil's
yeah.
trick.
It really was.
If you picked that, he showed up that night. And he's like, hey, I see you picked my shit.
Patreon.
And you're like, yeah.
Patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. We have a Facebook fan group where people are talking, so go check that out. And Robert, before we get started with this week's episode, we have a shout out.
We do.
On to you, good sir.
We have a thank you. And it's a thank you that goes out to a pair of our listeners that sent us this really sweet care package from Ohio, the hotbed of all that is up fuckery
Clearly.
and bizarre.
Capital of weird.
And it was from Corey and Zach. Corey, who is a mask maker, actually sent us a keychain of a classic Bigfoot
And it's
print.
pretty dope.
It's
And it's
dope.
awesome. It really, it's made of rubber or whatever material it is, but it looks like plaster, and it's got like the sand caked in the whole 9 yards.
It's cool.
And Zach sent us this thing he made called a shreddy bear.
It's pretty cute, actually.
Yeah.
Which is fucking
Little
awesome.
tiny bear with knives for hands.
Just
I like
giant knives for hands.
it. It's dope, yeah.
It's pretty dope.
Cool.
And on top of it all, they sent us this supremely colossal map of all of the paranormal and cryptozoological and weird shit that happens in Ohio. Like fucking phenomenally
it's
large.
like actual size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's the size. We couldn't
Like-
open it in Chris's apartment.
We're going to try to open it up, but we need like 2 more people, I think, to get it
It's
open.
amazing.
So it's pretty cool, though. I'm pretty excited to check it out.
And it will
So.
no doubt be fodder for months to come in terms of
Yeah.
at least maybe even trying to correlate some of these things and putting things in perspectives that we couldn't before. So, in short, Corey and Zach, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Totally. Thank you so very much. We appreciate the gifts. On to this week's episode. We're talking about the lead mask mystery.
One of the classics.
Shit.
In the summer of 1966, a group of boys stumbled across a macabre, or macabre, depending on you want to say it, scene that would not only ignite decades of controversy, but also uncover one of the most distressing, bizarre mysteries ever to emerge from the inscrutable jungles of South America. An enigma which tragically claimed a pair of young lives, and according to an array of theories, may have involved smuggling, paranormal terrorists, vengeance-driven executioners from an alternate dimension, and a technology-grounded paranormal cult hell-bent on contacting creatures from another world, utilizing the mystical arts, electronics equipment, and, of course, my personal favorite, psychedelic drugs.
That is a heady jambalaya.
I don't even know
of
what to
fucked
do with
uppery.
this. Yeah.
That's so.
There's
First
a
off,
lot.
paranormal terrorists, it's never good. But when you add the word paranormal, you're like, what do you have going on?
Yeah, because you don't even know the parameters.
Like instead of throwing fire bombs, are you throwing like imp eggs, hoping they
They could be
hatch on
throwing
your enemy?
sigils.
yeah.
Throwing sigils.
They're throwing
You're right.
sigils. There you go.
Anti-molecule bomb.
Yeah, see? All right,
That
well,
still sounds science, but I like it.
let's do it.
All
Regardless.
right. So anyway, this is a fucking classic case, one I've really, really been stoked to do, and it's us getting a little bit away from our tradition of cryptids and aliens and whatnot, and going into a true, just one of the most fucked up mysteries that to this day remains unsolved.
All right.
So let's do this. On August 25th, 1966, the Journal do Brasil published a report stating that a sensible, well-balanced lady of significant social standing and the stunningly superfluous moniker of Gracinda Barbosa Cunino de Souza fucking epic.
Oh my
epic
God.
name.
Jeez.
That's a well-balanced woman right there.
This woman, of again significant social standing, had seen a luminous orange ovoid object with a line of fire around its edges hovering over Rio's Morro do Ventum, the hill of the penny coin, on the evening of August 17th. So, standard UFO sighting.
All right.
A well-heeled lady is driving down the street.
Well-balanced woman.
A orange UFO with a ring of fire. Johnny Cash is pleased.
All right, there you go. In love with the good time of man. Boom.
Wow.
I brought it there.
Madame de Souza claimed that she was driving with 3 of her children along Almeida Sao Boa Ventura, which is situated in the affluent Rio de Janeiro suburb of Niterói, Brazil. Again, as I always disclaim, I don't know Portuguese, so I'm just hammering this out.
Perfect.
It works.
When her 7-year-old daughter Denise told her to look up in the sky over the hill of the penny coin, the lady eased her car to a stop, and she stared up at the oddly glowing object as it gently rose and fell in a vertical motion while it floated above the hill for approximately 4 minutes, just on the tide of the skies. She noted that the fiery craft also seemed to emit well-defined bluish rays in multiple directions, and this is according to the Jornal do Brasil. This observation was soon confirmed by a large number of witnesses who called the police independently to report that they had seen an orange-colored, egg-shaped object giving off blue rays over Morro do Ventum. So not just this lady and her kids, but piles of locals.
We got some eyewitnesses here.
This event might have gone down in the annals of ufology as an exciting, if unremarkable, group sighting, were it not for a bizarre and grisly discovery that would be made atop the hill just days later. Ominous. On August 20th, 1966, just 3 days after the UFO incident, a group of boys were flying a kite over the lush tangle of trees and jungle scrub that bordered the dirt path that wound its way up Morro do Ventum. Like many of us who have vainly struggled to control the virtually weightless union of sticks, plastic, and twine on a blustery day near too many obstacles, these youngsters lost control of their kite and were forced to watch helplessly as it disappeared into the dense brush. I could not keep a kite afloat. A flight. I don't even know what the word is.
Couldn't fly a kite?
I cannot fly a fucking kite.
Why?
I couldn't as a kid when I was
Really?
sprier and faster.
Yeah.
In the middle of
I
a
had
fucking
issues, too.
hurricane with 17 people helping me and fucking NASA scientists at my heel, I could not keep a fucking kite afloat.
You got to control them. You got to
remember like the pocket kite? Like it had it was just a little thing. You just
Oh yeah,
the tiny one.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It just came like in a little pouch type thing, and you
Totally.
Just like,
when I was a kid, I don't mean to digress too much. I promise I'm not going to go on the fucking Happy Time Kite Hour for too long. But
I am.
Kites with Rob and Chris.
Welcome to the Happy Time. Happy Time Kite Hour.
So fucking for a certain of us of a certain age and young people who are cool enough to know, Lost Boys. You guys remember that fucking movie?
Of course.
Yes.
Joel Schumacher's finest hour. Just great 80s pop fun. But you remember that fucking bat kite with the googly eyes that came flying down?
Oh, yeah.
That the actual vampires threw down to Corey Haim or somebody to like startle them. I had that motherfucking kite.
Oh, did you really?
And
that's dope.
It hung proudly in my back office, which was really my dad's fucking workroom, but I called it my office because I still have a shitty old typewriter there, and it never got aloft. Like I tried,
Really?
it got dragged down the ground an awful lot.
Maybe it was just the kite, the cut of the kite. Maybe
Maybe it's the
Could've
fat
been.
fuck that tried to fly it. I don't
there
know.
you go.
But what I do know
you gotta get
is
some
that
speed. You gotta get some speed to get it up.
I tried in every way.
But kite's based on wind, not its speed.
Yeah, but me running with it helps because you can get it going.
But even when I was involved peripherally, like my sister was young and spry and very speedy, and I would have her run with it into the wind.
Nothing.
Right.
All right.
Because I was there and the wind spites me.
All right. Well, childhood.
The wind
Listen,
spites me.
we are here to heal childhood traumas, and we will heal you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did not realize.
We're here to heal.
Oh my God, is this therapy?
You best.
So we teach vocabulary and we give ourselves
You
therapy.
good sir. You had a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel like, I do feel better about
There
it.
you
You
See?
did the best you could.
You did.
Oh, God. Thank you, guys.
There you go.
Hey, Rob, it's not your fault.
No, seriously.
Spoiler alert.
It's not
your fault.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, fuck off.
No, but really, it's not your fault.
It isn't your fault, really.
These kids also had trouble flying a kite. Of course,
right.
they were flying it on a fucking well-heeled jungle mountain in the middle of Brazil, but still.
Better spots to fly a kite, but whatever.
Is it?
Like Kansas? Yeah.
Flat and full of
Yeah,
tornadoes.
exactly. Yeah, no, the band.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I went there.
Wow.
Dad joke. Yeah, you like that?
Wasting no time, the kids pushed their way into the thick swath of jungle that enclosed the path, hoping to retrieve their prized possession. Within moments, they found themselves in a small clearing atop the hill over which the orange egg had been seen less than 72 hours before. The boys were relieved to find their kite near enough to the ground to be retrieved. Their relief was short-lived, however, when they spied what lay in a bed of leaves at their feet. Any guesses?
Are we going to go Stand By Me here?
That's a good guess.
Okay.
Oh, corpse.
Solid guess. I would have also taken a iguana and a sombrero. A few other choices.
Oh,
would have
that's
been good.
adorable. It's a little iguana with a sombrero.
Just sitting there?
Yeah.
But you're not necessarily going to be relieved to see it.
No.
You'll be delighted, but your relief would be short-lived.
Okay, it's true. like an iguana with like gaucho pants on.
All the better. Or a poncho like
Yeah, that'd
fucking
be
Blondie
dope.
from
Yeah.
The Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, man. That would be
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Now you got me dressing pets.
I
I've
know.
always
See?
been-
There you go.
But
That's how it
iguanas are
starts.
different. They love to be warm.
Oh, you put a nice pair of pants on an iguana, it's a sharp-looking lizard right there,
I
buddy.
can't
let me
argue.
tell you.
Science. But boy, we digress. Splayed on the ground before them were the bloated corpses of two men. They were clad in matching suits and trench-style raincoats, which, unlike the decaying flesh, appeared to be brand new. The terrified boys scarcely had time to note that the dead men's skin bore an odd, off-pink hue before they tore through the scrub, abandoning their cherished kite.
Oh, flying a kite, nice day, death.
Mm-hmm.
Just come across
Ain't
two
that the way?
bloated bodies.
Hill of the penny coin.
Oh, God.
The panic-stricken children sprinted down the hill toward the nearest house on the path, the home of 18-year-old George DaCosta Elves. Elves could tell by the fear in the boys' eyes that they were sincere in their accounting and immediately dispatched them to fetch the police before deciding to go up the trail to inspect the scene for himself.
Solid decision.
Really, though? For an 18-year-old?
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Did you poke the bodies with a stick? That's what I would ask. Are they dead?
I'm surprised he went up alone.
Yeah, well, bravery.
Ballsy and
Irresponsible.
responsible.
Yeah, responsible balls.
Things
There
I
you
have
go.
not achieved
Yeah.
many years after
Nah,
being 18.
not at all.
In the rapidly dwindling sunlight, the teenager found the dead men lying on their backs in the hilltop clearing. But what first caught his eye were not the clothing or condition of the corpses, but the two crudely hewn metal masks resting near their bodies, along with crumpled bits of paper, a bottle of mineral water, and strangely, a pair of towels.
Yeah, one of these things are not
Towels.
like the other. Like, here's some towels, guys.
Yeah.
And then weird masks and paper and shit. Yeah, it's weird.
We'll get into the description of the
No.
mask later, but
Towels.
think of a Robin mask, like from Batman and Robin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but without the requisite eye holes.
Like a domino mask, sort of, right?
but no eye holes at all.
Right. Just they're covering your eyes. You can't see.
Yes.
Didn't they use them with like nuclear tests back in the day?
No, there would be no reason to make yourself blind. They had like definitely like super sunglass goggles
Right.
that would diminish the amount of light coming in.
But these things block what they had on block your vision completely, right?
Just hand snipped, no sears.
Okay. All right. There you go. Hand stamped glasses. Well, anti-glasses, but yeah.
Although in 1966 many newspapers printed the contrary, in 1980 Elves divulged to author, astronomer, and ufologist Jacques Vallée,
Oh, our buddy Jacques Vallée.
indeed, who had come to the region to conduct an on-site investigation, that while the men in the clearing showed obvious signs of decay, there was inexplicably no stench of rot about them, which is odd. In a jungle, hot environment, you'd expect a little stinky.
Be stinky and gross, but all right, cool.
Stranger still was the fact that even though dark birds made circling arcs overhead, the bodies lacked any sign that these soaring scavengers or any other tropical predators had consumed the corpses. This seemed incomprehensible to elves, who knew well that carcasses rarely last more than a few hours completely untouched in the jungle. So, why are these natural scavengers avoiding a freebie
They're
meal?
not picking the corpse. Why?
Pink skin turns them off?
Towels.
Towels.
Oh, it's the towels. You're
That
right.
makes sense.
Oh,
Call shock.
See you next week.
there it is.
Unnerved, Elves hastily made his way back down the path to the police station. The officer in charge that evening was Oscar Nunez. He dutifully took down Elves and the other boys' testimony, but prudently decided to postpone the investigation until sunrise.
It's a good idea.
This was due to the fact that under the cover of darkness, the hills of Niteroi were known to be a haven for smugglers, thieves, prostitutes, and their respective illicit activities, and was therefore considered to be a treacherous place to visit at night, even for officers of the law.
Is that the Mos Eisley Cantina in Brazil?
On a hill.
Yeah.
Smugglers
Like the
Blues.
scummy party hill.
Smugglers Blues. All right. Well, I mean, it sounds like a fun party, actually.
Which makes Elv's decision to go up there before the sun went down.
Right.
But no doubt close to sunset.
Right.
All the more fucking, I guess, impressive or foolhardy, depending on how you want to look at
couldn't
it.
show them like,
Yeah.
hey guys, there's a murder. Please hold your illicit activities until we're done, or
Not when
just
there's
do them.
hooking and smuggling.
Yeah, no,
and
you can't
thieving.
just. Yeah, you can't just
I
stop
don't know,
that.
man. I'm sure if you just talk like, hey guys, let's just talk for a second here.
Hey, I'm not here to deal with your problems.
Hey, man.
I just have
Hey,
this issue
dude.
here.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
it.
like you guys were cool. Just be all right, man. We're gonna do this.
When
Probably
we
not. Yeah, you're
when we
right.
do the dramatic recreation of this, you definitely get to play Nunez in the reenactment.
Hey,
It'll
dude.
be great.
Yeah, totally.
All right. The following day, elves guided Nunez and the other officers and firemen up the steep trail to the clearing. The first thing the officers noted were that there were no signs of blood or any indication of a struggle at the site. But that was just the beginning of their strange discoveries, according to Vallee's 1990 book, Confrontations, which is a hell of a read, I might add.
Excellent.
The two corpses were lying peacefully side by side. Next to them were crude metal masks as well as slips of paper covered with notes. One of these notes contained elementary electrical formulas. Also found was a crushed piece of aluminized blue and white paper, some cellophane soaked in an unknown chemical substance, and a handkerchief with the initials AMS. This is like some fucking Sherlock shit.
It's like some weird
Yeah,
clue.
I need
yeah,
Benedict
like
Cumberbatch to
yeah.
fucking hit the scene and be like,
I like
what
it.
the
What are
fuck is going on?
What are the
Yeah.
electrical formulas?
What's the crushed aluminized blue and white paper?
Yeah, blue and white.
And the
What does that even
the
mean,
hanky
aluminized?
doily?
Yeah, aluminized. Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yes.
We're looking
What
to you,
does that
Papa.
mean?
Answer.
Oh, well, of course, I'm very familiar with all the ways one can crush and aluminize paper,
All right.
except this one
That's
time.
why we're asking.
And the cellophane and the unknown fucking ick.
AMS. There you go. All right. Well,
All right, so again, mysteries.
mysteries abound. Occult mysteries abound.
Well, maybe. We're going to get there. Right now, it's just a crime.
okay.
Simple, straight, run-of-the-mill death
Good
mystery.
old-fashioned crime.
Maybe it'll go paranormal.
Crime.
It almost certainly will.
Okay.
Although the torn pieces of paper had nothing more than simple calculations on them, the other contained an enigmatic and ominous clue as to why the men were at the site. The scrap of paper had the following words scrawled on it. Meet at the designated spot at 4:30 p.m. At 6:30 p.m., ingest the capsules. After the effect, protect the face with lead masks. Wait for prearranged signal.
Now that sounds like a party. That's pretty cool.
So much to unpack.
No, I don't
Dude.
like anything. I don't like instructions that I don't know
So why do you gotta get there
about.
2 hours early?
Why?
I only say that because I don't want to set up. I don't want to be there at the party hours before
You
it
don't like being
begins.
early to someplace? Really?
Oh, generally no.
Really?
I want to get there after it's going on. Unless it's a scheduled thing like
Yeah.
a movie or a function, then yes, of course I'll be like our podcast. But generally speaking, it's not to say I'm always fashionably late. I don't try to be, but I'm not eager to be there 2 hours previous to whatever.
Well, I mean,
Well,
all
not
right.
that early.
But that has nothing to do with anything.
No, this is saying-
My personal idiosyncratic bullshit. They have to be there 2 hours early.
That's
and then
ridiculous.
At 6:30, ingest capsules.
No.
Then after
No.
whatever is in them takes effect, hallucinogenically, antibiotically,
Put on
fucking
the
who
lead
knows what.
masks, dude.
Cover your fucking eyes so you can see nothing through these fucking hand-hewn lead masks.
Yep.
And then wait for prearranged. So it must be an auditory signal, I assume, because you
Yeah.
can't fucking see
You
it.
don't
It's
know.
anti-Kryptonian
They definitely
because
anti-Kryptonian.
they're lead.
Yep.
There it is.
There it is.
So Seuss can't see anything. This strange message confounded the authorities. Not only were they unable to figure out what had killed these ostensibly healthy young men, but they were also at a loss as to what the capsules they'd consumed contained, what kind of signal they were waiting for, and, most bewilderingly, why they would need to protect their faces, specifically their eyes, with these homemade lead masks.
You know why?
Why?
Magic.
Magic. Makes sense. In one fell swoop, these two neatly clad corpses and the confounding array of evidence surrounding them gave birth to one of the great unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. The mystified police photographed the area and then removed the bodies to the coroner's office. Despite the bizarre circumstances of the corpse's discovery, the coroner, Astor de Mello, concluded that the men had died due to natural causes, specifically cardiac arrest, and that an examination of the bowels had revealed no poison. He then declared that the men had died sometime between Tuesday, August 16th and Saturday, August 20th. Pretty sizable window, but
You got a couple days,
it was a
whatever,
different
couple
era
days.
for forensics. And then, most egregiously, he immediately closed the file.
Well, sometimes you're hanging out with your friends and you have a prearranged heart attack together.
That happens.
It happens.
It's called
Why not?
brotherly love.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you initiate yourself into the cult of the Screaming Halibut. Call back that no one will ever know
no
about.
one will ever know.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, I mean that's sometimes you just got to do that.
True that.
Yeah.
The fact that Mello had concluded that the young victims had not only spontaneously but also simultaneously died of heart attacks was a difficult pill to swallow, no pun intended, for both the police and the growingly concerned public at large, through whom rumors about the peculiar deaths had begun to spread like wildfire.
Oh, 2 men heart attacks simultaneously in the hills, drugs, paraphernalia, towels, mineral water, and aluminum paper.
Towels.
You are an expert on this
I'm
case, sir.
fucking dude. I wish I was there for this. This would be amazing.
Towels.
2 towels.
Bring in Colonel Eduardo de Cento Fiel, the head of security of the region, who was just as dissatisfied by these findings as everyone else. In order to get to the bottom of this mystery and tamp down the media frenzy, Fiel demanded a review of all the evidence with a police delegate and an electronics technician, as well as another autopsy. Veli describes the ultimately fruitless actions the colonel took. The next day he contacted Toledo Pizza.
Wait.
Flawless name.
Wait, what? Pizza Hut? What?
Director of the Coroner's Institute, Dr. Toledo Pizza.
Oh, okay. So that's a dude, not a business. No.
I thought it was one of those garbage pizzas
like-
that Chris
he-
eats.
he's so
Toledo
upset.
pizza.
Wait,
would
what
sell,
the
like-
fuck do you mean I eat garbage pizza? Fuck off into hell. I eat great pizza, all of it.
I'm thinking I've gone shopping here with Walmart and I've seen some of your questionable pizza choices.
What is my questionable pizza?
Hey, like the Great Value Pizza or whatever you
I've
get. I
never
don't know, but it
had a
looks
Great
like-
Value pizza.
Looks like it would be called Toledo Pizza.
Why would you sell your pizza as Toledo if it was real? Which thankfully it isn't.
Because it'd be hilarious, Toledo Pizza. Chris is like, oh, look, this is great.
No, I would eat the... Listen, I love gas station pizza.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like a lot
salty
of garbage
pizza.
pizza. I can't deny it.
That's what I'm saying.
And you can doctor up some fucking discount pizza.
But that's
with
why
your
I'm just
own
like, oh,
homemade
I'm so stressed
ingredients.
out. I got to call Toledo Pizza.
Yeah.
And
you
just
go.
get a lot of meat pizza from my favorite pizza place.
Toledo Pizza.
Colonel
Yeah.
Fiel called Toledo Pizza,
Called Mr. Pizza.
who in turn asked
Toledo.
Dr. Alberto Ferra to conduct a second autopsy.
Sorry.
It's okay. So now we got the chain of events here.
All right.
The viscera were removed and analyzed. The pathologist also looked for possible injection sites in the bodies, but the second autopsy revealed nothing new.
The viscera, as in like the
guts,
The
and
guts.
spleens, and
Balls,
whatnot.
dicks.
they removed.
I mean, maybe the genitals aren't technically viscera, but
I mean,
why not?
you don't got to remove them for an autopsy,
You don't
do
get
you?
to tell Toledo Pizza and his men
All
what
right.
to do.
You don't know what's behind the
He's like,
balls.
it's me, it's like it's me, Dr. Pizza, and he just like shows up.
Where's the balls?
That's Tommy Pizza.
Yeah, there you go.
balls? What's behind the dick and
Oh
balls?
Jesus! All right,
All right.
let's do this. Back on point.
Back
Back, on
on
target.
What we have here is a second autopsy, no new clues, 2 mystery corpses, and dicks and balls, clearly.
Clearly not on a point. Mark's not over it.
Detective Pizza. All right, stop. All right,
Paging Detective Pizza. Detective Pizza.
all right. I need a beer. All right.
Mere days
Oh, mere days.
after their discovery, the mystery corpses were identified as being 32-year-old Manuel Pereira, we'll go with that, de
Okay.
Cruz, and 34-year-old Miguel Jose Viana. They were both electronics repairmen who lived approximately 200 miles from Niterói and whose main areas of expertise were erecting television transmitters and repeaters. So they're just this whole burgeoning business of TVs.
Repeaters?
Yeah.
I don't know what a television
For
repeater is.
like television signals, they just it'll like repeat the signal like a Wi-Fi.
Oh, so it keeps
yeah.
it going and going.
Yeah,
and
like a
going
Wi-Fi
further.
repeater. Yeah.
Okay, there you are.
Okay.
Entrepreneurs. By all accounts, the men in question were respected citizens who were well liked by their neighbors. Sadly for their families, both men were married, and Miguel was the father of several young children. Vallée described the police investigation into their lives. The police started digging deeper and deeper into the victims' backgrounds. They had attended courses in Sao Paulo organized by Philips Electronics and other firms. They had purchased sophisticated equipment, yet they were not thought to be qualified to conduct scientific experiments. There were also allegations that the victims maintained an illegal radio station, and witnesses spoke of their interests in the paranormal.
Oh, is this like early podcast?
They had a pirate radio station.
Yeah, where they were talking about creepy shit?
Yeah, who knows? Like paranormal stuff, like early Coast to Coast in rural fucking Brazil.
An occult pirate radio station. How fucking cool is that?
And they played Descendants in between.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it's a few years early for that, but sure.
Yeah,
Proto, whatever.
Totally.
I think it's fucking awesome. When in 1980, Vallée asked one of the original officers assigned to the perplexing case, Detective Salo Soares, what kind of hypotheses they pursued regarding the motives for the strange deaths, Soares replied, "We thought it might be a case of a homosexual suicide pact. The spot is known to be a rendezvous point for gays from the neighborhood. But there was no evidence of this, either in the victims' lives or in the manner they died. Every line of investigation ran into the same brick wall. No sign of violence, no poison in the digestive system, no clues as to the manner of death."
So they were like hooked up, and then they just decided to have a suicide pact?
That just doesn't make any sense. You know, that sounds like the bias of well, I would like to say the bias of a bygone era, but I think we know better. But the really entrenched bias of fucking, however many years ago now.
Right. Well,
just,
all right.
I don't know why you'd assume, like, why? Even if people had sexual rendezvous up there, obviously with prostitutes, but even with whomever they chose for whatever reason, why would you assume they'd be more inclined to kill themselves and under such mysterious circumstances?
Yeah, I don't know.
And why not just leave? I mean, they obviously have business acumen, and if they're in love, just keep fucking driving. Why fucking build lead masks and pill out on the hilltop?
But I mean, if you're going to go out with your lover, that's a cool way to go out.
I don't know. It's really
I think so,
befuddling.
Exactly. A mystery.
Better to live with your lover than to
No,
die
I
with
mean,
your
I
lover.
always say choose life. Choose life, choose love. That's what I say.
You say it all the time.
I say that constantly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
how
say
you
it all
answer
the
the
time.
phone.
Yeah,
I know.
choose your life and choose your love. There you
No,
go.
ever since I've known you, that's what
It's true.
that's
All
what
right.
you've
Hey,
taught
is
me.
Mark there? Choose life, choose love. Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever said it. Whatever. I don't care. So yeah, all right. Well, whatever. Weird detective
So Soares maybe
hypothesis or
wasn't.
whatever.
He didn't have his fingerprint
All
on
right,
the
maybe
pulse
not.
of the
No.
truth.
No.
Authorities then questioned the few eyewitnesses to come forward, as well as the friends and families of the two men, and with their testimony were able to piece together a rough estimation of how the victims had spent the final hours of their lives. At 9 a.m. on August 17th, both men got on a bus in order to make the 3-hour journey to Niterói, from where they told loved ones they planned to travel on to Sao Paulo in order to buy a used car and some electronic equipment with which to restock their shop. Spending the 3 million cruzeiros, roughly $1,000 in American money at the time,
All right.
that they had between them. The bus reached its destination at 2 p.m. The men got off in the middle of a rainstorm and entered a bar on the Marquês de Piranha Street, where they purchased identical raincoats and a bottle of mineral water. The barmaid later told police that Miguel looked very nervous and repeatedly checked his watch as if they were late for a vital meeting. She also noted that they took the receipt for the bottle of mineral water with them, which indicated to her at least that they had every intention of returning it later for a refund. At 3:15 p.m., Manuel and Miguel set off on foot up the path to Morro do Vintim, where they were observed at about 5 p.m. by an unidentified child who claimed to have seen the men sitting at the base of the hill on which they would be doomed to take their final breaths. It would be the last time either of them were seen alive.
By a child.
By a child.
The eyes of a child.
I don't know if that's significant, but yes, by the eyes of a child.
It is.
Could the child be
Of the corn?
the
Of the
murderer?
damned.
The murderer?
It's a possibility.
Could be.
I don't see how, but sure.
Just, whatever.
I mean,
Dude, kids kill.
if it's a devil child.
Yeah,
but
kill.
kids don't usually kill by making you take pills you plan to take by the instructions you had written down in your pocket.
Good point. Detective Pizza's
No,
been debunked.
there's a time thing there.
Yeah.
They planned it to begin
They
with.
did. They could have.
Or maybe it was just a little person.
Ooh.
Children of the
A
time
deadly,
corn.
clever little person.
Could be. Could be. All right, Robert, continue.
I will. The police found it intriguing that while the men allegedly had 3 million cruzeros on them, their bodies were discovered to have significantly less cash. This fact raised the hopes of the officers that they were simply dealing with a robbery/murder scenario, which, while ghastly, was at least something they could wrap their heads around. The assumption that the men were the victims of a customary criminal enterprise was given a boost when a civilian guard named Rulino de Matos reported that he believed that he had seen the victims get out of a jeep near the foot of the hill, accompanied by 2 other persons, including a blonde-haired quote-unquote foreigner who he had not clearly observed.
Oh, the blonde-haired woman enters the scene with a child or diminutive criminal.
Foreigner.
Not indicated as a male or female, simply a foreigner.
Oh.
Foreigner.
Foreigner.
And now it's like spy caper territory.
Yeah. Okay.
The fact that Brazil had a ban on non-domestic electronic equipment and that the Hill of the Penny Coin was known as a smuggler's refuge only added fuel to the speculation that they had run afoul of bandits in an attempt to purchase illicit foreign electronic apparatus.
So they're like having to go to the hills to get like a Sony or something?
Yeah, like tech.
Yeah, really? Like because Brazil's like no non-domestic electronic equipment?
Listen, once the love pack
Because Brazil is
theory ran
known
its
for their
course,
electronic equipment that they
Smuggler's
produce?
Cove here.
I don't know. We gotta ask Manuel about that.
Yeah, we do.
Like, did your grandparents have to go to the top of the mountain to get a fucking
to get a
AM radio?
Well, maybe if there's like a trade thing, you know, where they're like, hey, look, we're not buying shit outside the country. We're going to keep it here. But still, it just seems weird.
No, yeah, trying to keep, Brazilian businesses afloat.
Right.
By
Which
not
makes
importing
sense.
perhaps cheaper and better
So if
quality
you want
American,
that,
Japanese,
dude,
wherever.
if you want that laser disc player, you got to go to some shady spots.
Well, nowadays, I imagine it's probably a little more open.
Totally.
I don't know. If you're getting Laserdisc.
Well, you're not getting anything laser in 66, by the way.
Oh, true. You're just getting like
Or are
radio.
you?
Oh, you can get sweet
Are you?
ham radios
How do you know?
and like a color television.
How do you know when it was really invented?
Yeah, Rob.
All right,
How do you
all
really
right.
know?
So the Roswell theory states.
Yeah, exactly. Alien tech.
Just saying.
We reverse engineered it.
Can we get
Tesla.
back to this?
We can.
Tesla.
Illicit foreign electronic apparatus.
Okay.
Okay. Nevertheless, this hope proved to be short-lived when it became clear that the victims had never intended to buy a car or any gear and were actually on an altogether different kind of mission, one which they hoped would push the boundaries of conventional reality to its very fucking limits.
The devil.
Well,
a.k.a. Psychedelic Space Wizard.
You're onto something.
There we go.
The authorities first began to grasp what Miguel and Manuel's actual agenda may have been when their families mentioned the cryptic comments the pair made before their departure. Miguel's sister told police that he had confided in her that their long excursion wasn't actually intended as a business trip, but a secret mission.
If Chris tells his sister, oh, hey, I'm going on a secret mission, she's going to call me or at least send a text message and be like, hey, by the way, Chris is going on a secret mission.
Well, if she calls and says,
no.
Chris, Mark, and Rob are going on a secret mission, because that's just a couple of friends going on a secret mission together.
That's different,
Then cahoots
yeah.
are going to happen, though. The people are going to be like,
Yeah.
so did you hear anything about this mission? What's this mission all about? What's going on?
Well, I'm saying if Chris is going solo.
Yeah, but he wasn't going solo. Manuel and Miguel were going
That's
together.
true, he was. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah, listen, if it's super secret and I had to not let people know, they would not let you know. So, for real.
Well, your family, you know.
If I was like,
secretive
I
like
was
that.
like, Angie, listen. Well, first you'd think I was fucking lost my mind. Because if she told me the same thing, I'd be like, no.
Like,
but then I'd be like,
no.
wait a minute. But maybe it's true.
What is it?
It would be the
What's
same
the
thing.
mission?
But I'd still be like, well, I don't think I would tell people.
No.
Like if she's like, you can't tell Mark and Rob. I got to do this thing. I wouldn't
All right.
I wouldn't spoil it. I couldn't take the chance.
What if Elisha hinges on it? You
That's
don't
what
know.
I'm saying. Like if it was like it's
Yeah.
life and death. You can't
So
tell
maybe
people.
that, you know what?
or-
I just
I wouldn't take the
debunked
chance.
myself. Maybe that's why she
Yeah.
didn't want to
It
say
is.
anything. Yeah.
If you're like, dude, I got to do a thing and you can't tell people. I'm like, you got wives.
Yeah.
That's right, wives,
Wi-
multiple wives.
I have one wife.
Thousands of kids.
2 kids and 1 wife, but thank you. And
no,
a cat.
thousands of wives,
go.
millions of children.
Yeah, what's fucking Lulu Sparkle going to do when
Yeah.
you fucking get lost on the
There's
hill?
there's Adam and then you as far as fucking progeny.
Nice.
So
At the same time, Manuel admitted to his wife that he was traveling in order to participate in a final test, after which he would be able to say whether or not he was a quote-unquote believer and what he did not specify.
You might want to just step in to be like, hey, man.
So they're both.
Final
Do you
test.
feel okay?
They're both like telling loved ones, sisters and wives, like, listen, we're not really doing this thing to help our burgeoning businesses and support our family. It's secret. And the other one's like, it's, it's a final test to know if I believe.
All right, well.
Then, yeah, everyone starts worrying and calling each other.
That's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
If my sister said that, I'd be like, you need to give me more information because I think I'm going to call you out.
Yeah, I'm calling
I feel like I'm going to call you out.
Dad.
Yeah, like I'd be like, show me where
Dad.
the Kumite belief is, because I don't know if I believe this.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Oh, my God, lungs.
Yeah, the pollen's
You
killing
got the
me.
consumption.
I would love
know.
to see where that fucking
Sucks.
final battle is.
Yeah, it would be pretty dope. All right, so where do we go from here, Rob?
Well, let me continue.
Okay.
The officers searched the homes of the deceased men and found in Miguel's workshop a panel of lead from which the mysterious masks had been clipped, along with a book on scientific spiritualism.
Oh, this is where
Science meets
This
the
is-
fucking
my
the rubber
shit
meets
jumps
the road.
off. This is it.
This-
Scientific
this,
spiritualism.
This is your shit, isn't it?
Jack
All right.
Parsons here be
I know,
fucking
I
cum.
see you beaming
Oh,
already.
I can't
The
wait.
police were shocked to find
sigil ourselves into the sky.
specific passages that had been underlined regarding both the intense luminosity of phantoms as well as the use of protective masks when encountering them.
When you
So,
summon the phantom, make sure you have your mask on. They'll
They're
fucking
bright.
blind you.
phantoms are shiny fuckers.
So you guys are missing all my cool fucking occult shit I'm doing on the side.
Really?
You guys don't even know.
Do you have your masks?
Sigils and candles and masks and phantoms
No,
and fucking
you
spirit boards.
pretty much let us know unless you're the secret things you haven't told
You guys
us.
don't want to get involved. I can't do it. I gotta have my own secret magic time.
You're like,
So wait,
guys, I did a rune.
You can't tell us about it?
All right, first of all, it's a sigil. It's not a rune. It's a sigil.
Same thing.
You don't even pay attention to rune. I did a rune like I'm fucking Odin.
It's the same
I did a
thing.
rune.
It's the same thing.
All right. Anyway,
If
Robert.
I digress, I just can say this. Even if we don't want to be involved, you could still tell us about it.
No, because you guys are gonna make fun of me.
Of
That's what you're gonna
course,
do.
that's
yeah,
part of the
exactly.
fun.
That's what
you
we
could
did
Be
when-
my,
that's
you
what
could
we did.
literally be my magic buddies, and you won't. It's heartbreaking.
Chris
Do
and I
you
are
want
the
to
evil
do?
science.
Do we need to do a spell together?
Yeah,
if you want to do
no.
a spell together, I'll do it. I'll laugh along the way.
Why
but
don't we
we'll
all
do
just
it.
do like separate spells, and we'll
No, I
not-
cannot do a spell by myself. Seriously,
Why? I do them by myself all the time.
that's you and
You
not
put them
me.
in your magic journal and you talk about your progression.
know
All right,
what?
anyway,
You know what?
anyway,
See, Rob,
I've said too much. I've said too much.
That's your middle school diary, dude. That is not your fucking incantation
Yeah.
book. It's not your grimoire of glory. It's your fucking
right.
silly little book that you write your hopes and dreams in.
We can't do
no,
this
it's
by ourselves.
not. It's my little notes about my magical practices. How dare you?
If you
How
need
dare you?
spell buddy,
This is why I don't tell you
listen.
about my magic.
If you need spell buddies, we're in.
All right, fine.
We will
All right.
not. I cannot do a spell by myself.
All right. I mean, we can do one
I'm
together,
not going
but
to
I
do
mean,
a spell by myself.
we could do one together.
I'm
maybe. I
not
don't know.
necessarily particularly interested
I
in
kind
that
of like
either.
doing shit by myself, but it's just me.
Wow.
Well, don't you want
Wow.
more power?
No, I don't know if
You
that's how
just
it
got
works.
disinvited from the magic party.
No,
Okay, look,
I'm throwing.
This is what we're gonna do. You and
M.
Rob
Night
do a spell
Shyamalan
together.
twists.
I'll do my own, and we'll compare notes and see what happens.
You.
You can fuck off.
Well,
right
well,
now.
you guys can do your own.
You're the one who is the leader of the spell thing. So me and Rob can't do a spell.
What, we wouldn't know where to
We're
begin.
gonna just watch Godzilla and drink beer.
That's true.
That can be
And
part
we're
of
gonna
the
be
spell.
like, "Fuck this."
We can make that part of the
But
ceremony.
And you know what?
mean it, so
That's
we
its
have
own
to do
kind
it.
of magic.
All right,
Yeah.
it's true.
But that's not what he's talking about.
No, I know. You're
All right.
talking the other guy.
If you want to do a
I'll-
spell, let us
listen,
know.
I'll keep my
we'll
magic to
film the
myself.
spell.
I'll keep my magic to myself.
See,
Robert?
bullshit.
Scientific spiritualism.
See, bullshit.
All right, here we go.
The lead masks, if I may. If I may.
Please do, good sir.
The lead masks were evidently designed to shield their eyes from luminous entities. Some of the less skeptically inclined officers could not help but wonder whether the evidently sunburned hue of the dead on the dead men's skin might have been caused by just such a radiant apparition.
Oh,
Maybe.
interesting.
Even those who didn't believe in the existence of such beings were forced to reckon with the fact that Manuel and Miguel evidently had enough faith in such creatures to take the precautionary measures of making and apparently employing the lead masks during their midnight rendezvous. It was at this time that the aforementioned Madame de Souza came forward with testimony regarding the bouncing orange blue beam shooting UFO. Remember that right from the beginning.
Yeah,
It happened
that's
just
how the
3
story
days
started
before.
off. Yep.
That she had seen directly over the area where the corpses had been discovered. Following her sighting, D'Souza went home and told her husband, who immediately went to the scene but saw nothing. When the corpses were discovered days later, Mr. D'Souza went to the officers to relay his wife's observations. He tried to keep her uninvolved so as not to upset her, but the police insisted on interviewing the woman. Journalist Charles Bowen confirmed that Mrs. D'Souza added more details that were not reported publicly to the authorities, but that this information was kept secret by a direct order from the chief of police. It is known that the Brazilian government had a keen interest in UFOs at the time. Was this newly erected umbrella of secrecy related to that fact?
Oh,
just a question.
Government cover-ups starting with the police.
It is also notable that at about the same time, the bodies were exposed to a battery of tests by radiochemical experts at the Atomic Energy Institute in Sao Paulo to determine if they had been exposed to radiation. The official line is nothing was found, but there are some who suggest that the actual results of the test were restricted by the police.
More cover-ups.
Again, is it a cover-up? Is it a conspiracy theory?
Restricted.
The reasons for the secrecy may lie in the circumstances affecting Brazil at the time. As in the United States, the mid-60s were a time of political and social upheaval in Brazil, but the nation had a phenomenon that was not known in the States, and that was paranormal and ufological groups that were engaged in acts of terrorism.
Oh, shit.
See?
Could you imagine if, like, fucking MUFON was firebombing
Yeah,
shit? If
like
NICAP were fucking
No,
taking over
no,
government office buildings?
Yeah, like
No.
fucking MUFON and like fucking ISIS get together and they're like, I got a great idea, guys. Let's go fucking blow
Let's set
some
up some
shit up.
telescopes
Yeah,
and
all
stick
right.
it to the man.
So you had these paranormal groups.
Weather Underground and QFOs.
Yeah, and they're just attack. All right, wow, terrorism. All right,
Yeah,
there you
it's,
go.
it's a weird because it's something they seem like antithetical.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Like you're just like you don't think of investigative bodies, whether they're in fringe sciences by most considerations like UFOs or cryptozoology or legitimate scientific pursuits. Again, I'm using the terminology of the lay folk.
Yeah,
now that I think
sure.
that UFOs are really fringe.
you don't think like MUFON like militia.
But you don't associate that with, you know, political motivated violence, you know, that, you know, can go really heinously.
Well, they're up and they got
awry.
guns, man.
Not
They're up in
anything
arms.
recently. I mean,
Well, this was 66, but
so
still.
that's a little late for that. Kind of.
I mean, if you get, I guess maybe.
Clearly, it didn't click because that did not catch
That's
on.
what, yeah,
No.
that's what I mean. It's a little late.
You didn't
for
have
that kind of
remote
stuff.
viewers hijacking planes at any point saying, "We'll tell you with our mind where to land."
I mean, actually, that would be kind of.
No, listen. If that was a thing, this would be it'd be a different
It'd be a different
reality
world.
we
Yeah.
lived in if that was legit.
Totally.
Like,
Or if, you know, and I know we've been picking on Mark, or if the actuality of what magic is, be it like, say in the Marvel Universe, a branch of science that is just significantly advanced, as Arthur C. Clarke said, as to seem like magic, if it takes such knowledge and such practice and such willpower and weatherall and who the fuck knows what, that it's just that rare.
You could just read condensed chaos like I did and just have a good time with it, or you can make it super complicated. Whichever you want to do.
Well,
it's up to you.
I'm saying that it
Wow.
must be super complicated. Otherwise,
fuck
we
over
would
here.
live
condescending farm fucker.
of fucking tailless fucks like you wagging around everywhere.
Wow.
No, seriously. If magic is
Wow.
real, it's got to be really hard. Otherwise, we would live in a world where most people don't think it's not real.
Or do you?
I do. I live in a world
Or-
where magic is not an accepted practice. No one has their magic office right next to the insurance broker. I mean, maybe some psychic does.
Maybe
Yeah.
you're just looking at it wrong.
I'm
That's
not.
all.
I'm not shitting on it. I'm just saying.
All right. Well,
If there's a level of science that appears to be magic, it must be very hard to
Yeah.
master.
Well, no, because if it was a level and science knew about it, it would be science and not magic
it's true.
at that point.
Oh, no, I'm waiting for your comeback. Your pithy little
I'm not
comeback,
gonna
Mark.
give a comeback.
It's only magic until science figures it out.
I
Then
know
it's science.
we've all seen Thor. We all know how that works.
Yeah, dude, lightning was magic. Fire was magic.
There you go. The
Fire still is magic.
The internet's magic.
It kind of
Or
is.
it?
Yeah.
I think it's weird that it just happens.
Yeah.
Here's some flint.
And it
Yeah.
eats
Look.
things.
Boom.
Devourer of earth.
Why are
Get
you
the
hot?
molecules fucking
Blackner of bark.
Yeah. You
Get
weren't
them-
there, and now you're there.
Yeah,
Like,
and then all of a sudden devouring and fucking you got molecules speeding up, and then boom, fire. Robert,
water,
continue.
ghosts,
Pears.
Some Back to the fucking age of paranormal terrorism that was the mid-60s Brazil. Some have suggested that these organizations were using psychic and spiritual research as a front. Others believe they were being manipulated by ultra-terrestrials with nefarious intentions to commit heinous crimes and cause general chaos in the human world.
So it's like a real situation of like satanic panic, kind of like where like the devil really is making us do this type of shit.
Well, if you're going to use the real analogy of satanic panic, which means it didn't exist, there were no satanic daycare centers and all the things that people were afraid of in the 90s.
The shit's real.
Was bullshit. Well, real in the sense that people were actually afraid of it.
Right.
But were people covering up politically motivated violence with an aura of paranormal or spiritualism?
Or will the ultra-terrestrials fucking
I knew it. I was waiting. I'm like, he's going to say the word. The big U.
Well,
ultra-terrestrials,
it's actually a proposed theory.
It always is.
Yeah.
Every time.
I didn't bring it up.
Shut up. You just did.
No, Rob brought it up in the article.
It's true, I did.
Rob wrote it.
Whatever the actual origins.
I hope your fucking spells.
Damn it.
I hope your fucking spells fail terribly.
I've never casted.
I will never cast a spell.
I've never cast.
What
When
does
Chris
that
is
even mean?
permanently attached to your back, I'm gonna fucking laugh.
There's no
What
spell.
kind of Japanese ass shit is
Fuck
that?
you guys.
Oh,
Anyway,
fucking wow.
You mean like you have to save the universe or be on Rob's back, and you have to cast that spell? Like, I guess I got to save the universe and be on Rob's back.
I mean, it seems kind of heavy. Like it seems like a lot to deal
That's
with.
the only way I would cast the spell to be on Rob's back.
Nice. All right.
I'd like to be involved in this discussion.
You can't.
Oh no, you're not.
You can't.
Sorry, dude.
Fucking universe.
Yeah,
you
that's
go.
what I'm saying.
That's your fate.
Can I please?
Please.
Can
Please.
you? Can you?
Whatever the actual origins of these movements were, the police had taken a hard stance against them and were engaged in active measures to crush them under heel, regardless of whether or not such groups were political or simply engaged in actual Fortean research. One can assume that their underground radio station, combined with the spiritualist text found by the police, piqued the interest of both the local and governmental authorities. It was then that the police caught another break when they found a comrade of Manuel and Miguel, a commercial pilot and a fellow paranormalist named Eliseo Gomes. In the March 1967 issue of Flying Saucer Review, the multilingual Bowen translated a piece from the Rio tabloid O Cruzeiro, The Cruise, which recounted testimony Eliseo gave the officers. According to Gomes, the three men belonged to a semi-clandestine organization known as Scientific Spiritualists. The overriding purpose of this group was not domestic terrorism, but to prove the existence of the spiritual realm through scientific methods, mystical practices, and the consumption of hallucinogenic drugs, designed to trigger spiritual experiences and open the recipient's minds enough to converse with non-corporeal entities.
I mean, I'm bored.
Here we go.
Like I'm there.
Here we go.
I mean, that's what
I
a lot
like
of people
it.
would use ayahuasca for.
Yeah, or like DMT,
Sure.
or
to commune with higher powers, things that live on a different
the
vibrational level or
scientific
whatever.
method, whatever that means. You can do your hypothesis.
Well, that's a different way.
I mean, I guess
What?
you could do it. Yeah, you can get your scientific method. That's what you start with, right? Is your hypothesis.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, that's what you do. I know how the scientific method works.
Clearly.
Yeah, you're
high as fuck. Use a scientific method.
That's what I
I'm
do
like,
all the time.
What?
Fuck it, yeah.
Oh,
I get
no.
high as fuck. I play Red Dead Redemption, and then I start fucking. I'm like, I got science, dude. And then I tell Rob my hypothesis, and he poo-poos it. And Chris
Not
poo-poos
always.
it.
I'm very supportive.
You guys both poo-poo my science and my magic. It's okay. It's no big deal. I accept it. I'm okay with that.
When have you given me a scientific theory ever?
Choose love.
You've not.
Wow.
Choose life. Is that what I said?
I don't know. We'll have to
so.
read
I have to review it. Yeah.
Choose love.
Either
Choose
way,
life.
that's
Choose
probably-
love.
If,
Love
if there's
life.
so many beers,
The best thing
it
you've ever
doesn't
said.
matter. All right, here we go.
This was confirmed by a so-called professor of yoga in the newspaper Folha de Sao Paulo, who claimed that the local spiritualist community would often take psychedelic drugs in an effort to commune with unknown forces. And it was his opinion that Manuel and Miguel had died due to an accidental overdose. While the effects of an overdose of LSD or mescaline can often prove dangerous or even fatal in the activities they might inspire in the consumer, there are only anecdotal cases of the drugs actually causing respiratory failure. So it seems that a psychedelic overdose can be ruled out. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You might get a little fucked like you might get a little freaky, but you're not gonna like.
You could kill yourself.
Yeah, but your heart's not
could.
It's not like heroin.
But it's not. Yeah, it's not like a speedball or something.
Yeah.
Whatever the technological or pharmaceutical methods of communicating may have been, Gomes insisted the immediate goal he pursued with Manuel and Miguel was to build a device that would enable the trio to make direct contact with the advanced spiritual life forms that were currently inhabiting Earth's crimson cousin, Mars.
It all fucking
now
goes
it falls
back
into
to
place.
Mars. It all goes back to Mars.
I was confused before. There was a lot of shit going on, and now it's like, yes.
Yeah.
Advanced spiritual life forms on Mars, of course. It's the only thing that makes it all fit.
This does go back to Parsons. This does go back to L. Ron Hubbard. It also goes back to our buddy, Mr. Aleister Crowley.
Was he trying to talk to Martians? The ghosts of Mars, if you will?
We're
a really piss poor John Carpenter film?
We're going to be covering this at one point in Patreon when we decide to officially break Chris's brain. Or his soul, one of the two.
To that oddly ambitious end, Gomes, Manuel, and Miguel, using whatever limited insights the pair had as fledgling electrical engineers, constructed what was described as an interplanetary communication device in Manuel's backyard in June of 1966.
That sounds like a fun afternoon.
It sounds like you're either dealing with like some Tesla-level genius that just didn't need a formal education. He just picked up a few of the fundamentals and is running with it, one or more than one of them. Or just three guys that are utterly delusional, like putting together an erector set and two walkie-talkies. And
we could just hang out and get hammered and be like, I got an interdimensional communication device.
We could try to build one of those
we could.
For fucking 17 years straight with fucking full funding, like DARPA funding, and we would fucking still have a cardboard box with crayon buttons.
we have a Patreon that we can use those funds to start developing this if you want.
We are not the three to do it. And you know this.
How dare you? Really? All right. Well, you know what, Robert? You don't have any faith in us, but I have faith in us.
I'm saying maybe Manuel or Miguel was.
Okay.
Possibly they were given this divine inspiration.
All right. The angels.
Their lofty aspirations were for naught, however, when the machine exploded in its initial run. This setback only put a temporary hiatus on their intrasolar system communications experiments, however, and their next effort would not only be exponentially grander in scope, but might also have created some inadvertently devastating collateral damage.
Well,
that's in the name of
it
science.
Happens. Yeah, man. Sometimes shit blows up.
We'll see.
Whatever.
The group's second attempt at communicating with Martians occurred on June 13, 1966, on a remote stretch of Atlantic coastline known as Adafona. Like the first try, this test concluded with the homemade device self-destructing. But in this case, it also brought down something else with it.
Ooh.
According to a report made by Bowen in the 1966 edition of the Flying Saucer Review, it seems that with others, Gomes had gone down to Adafona Beach on June 13 at the invitation of Miguel and Manuel. They had just arrived when an intensely luminous object came down across the shore. It is regrettably unclear if the UFO had been called down by Manuel and Miguel's cosmic walkie-talkie, or if the arrival was just an extraordinary coincidence. Irrespective of the circumstances leading up to the ship's appearance, things were about to take an unfortunate turn, again according to Bowen. 5 minutes later, when the UFO began to rise, there was a blinding flash and an explosion that rocked the city of Campos and buildings far beyond. So now we're talking fucking, like, true disaster. Like, it's shaking fucking buildings
sonic
miles
boom,
away.
at least.
At least. It's worth noting that even though Campos is almost 30 miles away from Adafona, the explosion proved to be so intense that the local populace believed that an earthquake was occurring. This incident was investigated by the Brazilian Navy, who interviewed all eyewitnesses and learned that the local fishermen claimed to have seen a flying saucer crash into the sea at the same moment.
Did they bring down a UFO?
They might have been trying to talk.
What? And they inadvertently crashed it?
That seems to be the implications.
Well,
fucking up.
That or they just happened to be there for a meteorite that fucking exploded.
Yeah, true.
Because that's what happens.
True. But I want to believe that their intergalactic communication device...
They fucked up a fucking UFO?
They fucking accidentally toasted a UFO. Right. They're like, oh no, we've started an intergalactic war. That's going to piss the Federation off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Federation, is it? Of the Commonwealth?
And while it might be something natural, or it might be who the fuck knows, I mean, the thing was described as coming down over the shore, not like streaking across the sky over the ocean and then exploding. Now, Chris is right. Like, there was that Russian meteor a few years back.
Oh,
Thank God
blew
didn't trigger a fucking
all this
nuclear
shit up.
Jesus
holocaust.
Christ, I know. Fuck.
So yeah, things like that can happen, and they cause real, you know, damage to the buildings below. But right now, we're just gonna just
They
assume
may
that the
have
fishermen saw a flying
accidentally-
saucer, but maybe they just timed it really well.
They may have accidentally almost started like an intergalactic war, but whatever.
Exactly.
Psychedelic space wizards will protect us.
Again, it is unclear whether or not the destruction of the ship was related to or possibly even caused by the novice electrician's device. But there are some who've suggested that in their ignorant enthusiasm to connect with forces beyond their reckoning, Manuel and Miguel may have inadvertently caused the obliteration of the saucer and the crew that piloted it.
A murder most foul.
These paranormal gumshoes have further speculated that the men may have been somehow lured to their untimely deaths on that hilltop in retaliation for the lives lost over Adafona on June 13th.
A revenge killing?
Revenge from
This
beyond
is
the spectrum.
an intergalactic true crime revenge killing?
And or interdimensional, but
Like
yes.
snapped, but with like aliens or ultra-terrestrials. Well, interdimensional beings.
Booyah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, this is like fucked up Clue.
It really, it's real
really
fucked
is.
up.
Manuel on the beach with a wrench.
the reptilian in the closet with a candlestick.
It was that, Jesus
I'm
Christ.
just saying, what?
It was then that it was revealed that a death uncannily similar to that of Manuel and Miguel had occurred 4 years earlier on Morro do Cruzeiro near Neves maybe. In that case, a television technician named Hermes was found dead next to a similarly hewn lead mask.
Another lead mask
4 years earlier
Really?
on another Brazilian hill by another
technician.
TV electronics technician.
Dude, maybe this is like the entrance to the fucking secret societies when you're a fucking TV repairman
What
in
was
Brazil.
Phillips teaching these kids when they sent their fucking
exactly.
emissaries down to fucking create
Shit.
electrical
That should have been a
engineers?
fucking television
Dude,
repair
I don't
guy.
know.
God
Or was it
damn
Magnavox?
Oh, was it Magnavox? Oh,
He
shit.
loves
Was it?
Magnavox.
Maybe that's where the party went.
Yeah,
The
that's
difference between the
that's
side
where
and
the
the science
devil
side.
came in. Yeah, that's where the fucking devil shows up.
Yeah, one was a cult and one was strictly like
yeah,
science.
like real legit
we're
shit.
gonna follow the cult of Tesla, and we're gonna follow the cult of Vulcan. I know whoever, somebody.
Falcon.
Or the lies of Edison. All right,
Yeah, Addison.
back to Hermes. Unnamed sources claim that he was trying to catch quote-unquote television signals without the use of electronics and that he perished after taking a round pill. Could this pill have contained the same substance that was in the capsules Manuel and Miguel ingested on August 17th, 1966? If so, assuming it wasn't a hallucinogen, then what was it? So it's interesting. First off, trying to catch television signals without
Come
equipment.
on.
That's some fucking crazy ass shit.
The fuck.
And then he's got the lead mask. He takes a fucking pill. It's beyond coincidental.
It matches up completely.
Unfortunately, that was the only information released to the English-speaking world about this second bizarre lead mask-related death. This leaves us with scads of new questions, such as, was Hermes a part of the same scientific spiritualist group that the two more recent victims belonged to? If his experiment had gone so terribly awry, why were Manuel and Miguel so eager to follow in his footsteps? And what the hell was the deal with trying to become a set of human rabbit ears to collect TV signals directly into the brain? And were there supernatural or extraterrestrial entities hell-bent on targeting TV repairmen? If so, then fucking why?
Maybe not
I don't
targeting,
know.
but maybe the TV repairmen were like the conduit for them to come into our world. Oh, you like
Or
that, don't you?
like an occult group that maybe had political agendas, maybe were terrorists, maybe weren't. That's not even relevant. Who really were? I mean, I would love to see a copy of the Scientific Spiritualism book and see. Besides,
Jesus,
phantoms
yeah.
glow when you need to protect your eyes. Like,
Right.
what other rules?
Instruction,
Because it might be
right.
all
Yeah.
laid out.
That
in
would
this fucking book.
it might make sense after you read this thing that says this is what you got to do. What the fuck was this pill?
Yeah.
Maybe
Danger
that's-
Tums?
What's Jesus Christ?
Look, you eat it. That's it. Like
Maybe
what
it's
the
a
fuck?
Pepsid. It's a Pepsid AC.
Danger Peps, deadly Pepsid.
Dead-
What's
Pepsid.
fucking aluminized paper? Not that that's a big deal.
That
who is
too.
AMS and the sweet fucking
Why are there
kerchief
towels?
of
Yeah,
mystery?
none of
Well,
this-
why fucking towels?
None of this makes
instantly,
sense.
I have to think of like Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
like you need a towel everywhere. But this is fucking mad years before.
Mineral water with a receipt? Who does that? How dare you? How dare you?
Recycling?
Returning it with a receipt?
Still, More twists were in store. At the official inquest, the families of the dead men claimed that the device used in Adafona was not designed to communicate with the unknown, but was in fact a homemade bomb.
Oh, this
The
might be shining
authorities
some light on it.
then claimed that the two men were actually terrorists who had somehow managed to kill themselves or be killed by unknown Confederates atop the hill of the penny coin, but sources later revealed that the family was harassed by the police into making that public statement.
Suicide
Yeah,
bomber
Corruption, trying to wrap it up.
suicide
but
bomber or
sources-
occultist. Take your pick.
What does that mean?
Oh, it's true. What does it mean? While their testimony may or may not have been true, it in no way explains the aerial phenomenon seen crashing into the ocean by local fishermen or the strange circumstances of their family members' premature deaths. And that's true. I mean, I can see the police, like, it's a big uproar. It's kind of egg on your face. You just want to fucking wrap it up. Nobody needs fucking UFO killers and weird shit.
Yeah, no, it's fucked.
Second one in 4 years with fucking bad enough they had to deal with Hermes, and now they got to fucking deal with this.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that the police were definitely corrupt and on the fucking, you know, not even the take in this case, but on the conspiracy to fucking pat it all down. But apparently some family members came out and said that they were coerced.
You know.
And
yeah.
again, it does not explain the UFO
No,
that was seen.
not at all.
The questions involving this case are almost too innumerable to recount, but a few that pop into mind, besides the obvious ones such as what did Miguel and Manuel go to the top of that hill in order to prove, and what killed them once they were there, are what was in the capsules they took, who was the owner of the AMS handkerchief, what was the unknown substance on the piece of cellophane or the purpose of the crushed piece of aluminized blue and white paper, did they actually call down a UFO that was the same one that was seen over the hill? And if so, what happened to the device they used, or did they even need one? Finally, what was the actual purpose of the lead masks? Was it really to protect their eyes from the glorious glowing beings that they hoped to encounter? If so, were they supposed to be blinded throughout the entire affair, or just the initial phases? And double finally, what's the deal with the fuck-sucking towels?
Well, towels are off the table.
Why?
Because they're there. No one knows why. There's I mean the
So that means they're squarely on the table.
or
In fact, the
no,
tablecloth was made of
the
towels.
towel's the dupe. The towels could be the dupe.
Were the corpses actually folded towels done origami style, like a swan, except
toweling?
to look like two young corpses,
Like
so
toweling.
they could steal away and live in their lover's retreat,
Oh,
and
they were
everyone back
corpses
home
made
would
of
thought they were
towels.
dead.
There you go.
Oh, corpse! That's why the fucking birds wouldn't eat them.
See?
They know a corpse towel.
Because they're fucking towels.
It just makes sense.
Yeah,
right.
that's the key.
I hope they're in their fucking 90s, living on some other hill nearby.
Oh,
Yeah.
the towels?
Live it up.
The fucking the young lovers.
Towels.
We
did it. We did
With a new set of soft towels for which to dry themselves after bathing and whatnot.
You know, towels are towels, man. I don't know.
All right. Following their demise, these entrepreneurs, family men, and seekers of truth had their names dragged through the mud. Already associated with criminals and terrorists, they were also accused of potentially being spies. The list of indignities went on. And it was under this canopy of conspiracy, rumor, governmental secrets, alien threats, and apparently threats to national security that the officer in charge of the cases, Roman Jose Vieira, closed the investigation and forwarded the dossier to the Ministry of Justice, where it languishes unsolved to this day.
Wow. All right. There
That's
it
a
is.
big one.
Well.
Intelligent towels.
Yeah.
I mean, this
intelligent
case
towels.
Fooling
yeah.
you.
Yeah. Oh, the deception of the towels.
It's AI.
clear.
It's AI.
This, I mean, I brought this
AI
up
future
earlier.
towels.
I
Yeah.
brought this up earlier, but I'm going to say this is a clear cut of evil science and magic buddies. This is the
What does that
very
mean?
fucking definition of it.
Well, it involves evil, science, magic, and buddies.
Yes.
And you can really combine all those words in any way you want, and it would still aptly cover this case.
Evil science and magic buddies. There you go. I really do think that whatever type of occult practices they were trying to employ here may have backfired, and maybe they just weren't like readily prepared for whatever they were going to experience.
So you think they might have experienced something with the unknown?
I
and
think
they just
so, yeah.
weren't prepped for.
They just weren't ready there. They went like Icarus. They flew too close to the sun with their wax wings.
Because
Yeah,
this fucking
yeah.
entire case is a hot, wet fucking mess. It doesn't help that it was sporadically reported through, second and third hand sources throughout. And, Flying Saucer Review was a fine periodical, that came out in I think Great Britain and a few other places. Like, these people were trying to do legitimate investigative work to the best of their ability with limited resources and, not being able to jet set and just fly over. It's fantastic that Jacques Vallée actually went to the site. Granted, it was a couple of decades after it happened, but tried to interview eyewitnesses. So I tracked down as many of these sources as I could, and the biggest problem is there's some really simple questions that aren't fucking answered. Like, were Manuel or Miguel really? I mean, they were not well trained, but did any of them show like a really extraordinary aptitude for electronics, like where they could build things that were maybe above their pay grade? That would we don't know the answer to that. That would be a good question to have answered. What is in this scientific spiritualism book? Is it like basically a step-by-step template as to how to communicate with these things, or is it just general random advice? Is it a fucking 14-page pamphlet, or is it a fucking 3,000-page fucking volume that really schools you in the way? I mean, I'm fascinated by their idea that there's something bigger in this world. We're intrigued by the UFO concept. Let's come up with our theories scientifically. Let's use different, mystical methods, which, of course, every scientist would instantly blanch at. But whatever, there's room for other ways to explore these things. And let's do it. But none of that really leads you to, all right, the lead masks are kind of explained by the passages that were underlined in one of their workshop. But it doesn't explain the pills. It doesn't explain.
No, the pills is weird.
The message is simple. Like, get there 2 hours early, take the pills, wait for effect, apply mask.
If the pills are a hallucinogen, though, and that's what you're using to commune
with the unknown or different levels.
Then, I mean,
like, where would you get that? That's too oddly specific to not be given to you.
Oh, it has to be.
You know what I mean?
It was either from that book or from whatever group they belong to, part of their protocols or whatever.
Right.
I mean, I don't think they were planning on dying.
No, because the autopsy said no poison.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different thing that we'll get to in a second. I don't think they planned on dying because they saved a receipt, which they might have just done out of habit. Who knows? But they bought new raincoats.
If I'm
heading up a hill to die for whatever reason, I'm wet. I'm gonna be dead.
You're not gonna waste the money on the.
It's not even that I care about wasting money at that point. Sure. I mean, why not go? Why not buy a bottle of whiskey? Why not have fun, cut loose, do whatever the fuck you're gonna do if you know you're gonna die that night?
I don't know. Like, ask the Heaven's Gate people why they didn't do.
They all had brand new Nikes, dude, and they cut their balls off.
Yeah, why was it just pizza boxes strewn about?
Yeah, no, they all had brand new Nikes.
None of them would have died. They would all been fat.
They would have been
and
like,
happy.
"Oh, pizza's great. Maybe I don't want to wear Nikes and die."
I mean, they have questionable life choices, but fashionably speaking, they were dressed.
You're talking about fucking Heaven's Gate now.
Yeah,
they had nice taste in kicks, but
again,
really horrible taste in castration.
Well, you know what? It's like, you take what you can get, Robert.
That's true.
You take what you can get.
But leaving Applewhite off the table for now. Fucking these guys may have been involved in a weird suicide pact, but you really have to, here's the thing. If they firmly believed and they thought, we're going to take these pills, we might die, but if we do die, we're on the UFO, we're going into the great blissful unknown with nubile gorgeous people where we get to live forever and eat delicious sweet things, but our teeth never decay and there's no STDs and yay. But they didn't say that. They told loved ones that, well, one said a secret mission, and the other one said,
going to believe.
We're going to see. Yeah. We're going to run a test, and if it works out, we'll see what happens.
Well, apparently
that's not somebody that's convinced enough to kill themselves, in my opinion.
No, or maybe it did work out, and like I said, my original hypothesis here, scientific method, that they just did too much. They weren't prepared for what happened.
They did too much?
But what does that mean? Did too much what? Did they peek at the Phantom when they weren't supposed to, and that
whatever sort of weird psychedelic experiment they were running, they just weren't prepared for the aftermath or just for the actual process of what was going to happen.
But you're saying words. What do you mean by aftermath? Like the paranormal aftermath, or just the aftermath of too many hallucinogens in a bad location in a dangerous place at night?
The paranormal version sounds cooler. Yeah, no, because the whole
if they were they were found murdered with all that weird shit around them, it would still be an intriguing mystery. But then you go, but there's two fucking guys. They're doing this crazy experiment and they died.
They had a heart attack.
On Smuggler's Cove.
They had a heart attack simultaneously.
But no poison in their system.
Taken out of it completely.
No poison in their system. At least that was detectable by 66 standards. And yes, we have to add that caveat.
All right,
no poison in their system.
True.
Excuse me, no obvious signs of violence or foul play, no struggle, no kicking around, nothing. just laying there peacefully, well, bloated and peacefully,
Yeah.
with weird pink skin, flesh rotting, which makes sense because of the environment, but not smelling, which does not make sense.
Yeah, weird.
Untouched by scavenger animals.
Yeah, weird too.
These are all more intriguing than conclusive, I'll admit.
Right.
But they're all fucking intriguing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you have separate eyewitnesses. There was, you know, Gome and whoever else that saw the UFO from the beach before it exploded and ended up destroying windows and campos 30 miles away. There's the fisherman that allegedly claimed to have seen a UFO go down. Chris is right. You can't take meteor off the table, but
Well, you can't
take UFO off the table either.
Maybe
No,
they
we can't
brought the
take
UFO
anything.
down and killed the crew.
And is it vengeful UFO now?
Could have been a revenge killing.
These fuck faces.
Yeah, but why do they look like the way they do? Like, there's too many fucking... Why?
Hence one of the biggest mysteries of the 20th century.
Why?
I really-
It seems like they're bloated, drowned
Right.
corpses.
Oh, corpses just bloat in the summer sun. Like that,
Sure,
the
but
bloating
I'm
doesn't
ju-
bother me.
No, I'm just saying, like, if they're not in touch, it seems like maybe they were in water up until very recently.
Oh,
which is why they were not.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or, you know, maybe they were soaked in something, some sort of preservative, which might have
Right.
negated the scent. Though you would think, even again, by the limited standards of the, you know, mid to late 20th century, they would, if they were like soaked in some sort of formaldehyde type stuff, that they would have been able to find traces
I'm
of
sure
it.
they would have. Yeah.
Would they?
I think they would have. I really
It-
do.
well, if they're looking for it, if they're not, you don't know if they're just like we gotta end this, and they find this and like this is fucked up, and we just need to put a thing and close this.
So you're thinking more like a true crime angle? Like they were just murdered in some weird.
No, I didn't know if they were murdered, but like if they have the same evidence we did, and back then, and they're just like we just need to
Right.
kibosh this and put a thing out, then
Yeah.
that's what they're gonna fucking do.
Could.
But
I'm sticking with psychedelic astronauts, and boy, they fucking crashed. So there you go.
Crashed hard, huh?
Yeah, they
Boy,
crashed hard.
That's what you like.
Yeah. All right. So Chris is going true crime. I'm going with
I'm
psychedelic
just saying for that
astronauts.
one specific point. There's
Right.
there's
Well,
just
there's a lot.
too much.
There's a shitload here that it almost fucking.
Why the
disproves
mask seems to
itself.
be something they could have gotten out of a book. In the same way you read a religious book and you interpret that
Right.
into your own
Which
reality.
clearly they did, because the book was found in the possession of
He-
one of them with that passage specifically underlined.
Right.
And so
Okay.
it could have just
So
been
that
anything.
doesn't
that's-
take a big leap of. I agree. There's no leap of logic to say, oh yeah,
Yeah.
they read that in a book. So we can at least. I don't think it was a ruse. I don't think they went up there to play a practical joke. I don't think they went up
Right.
there to make a really perplexing scene, to have like the cop said, a homosexual suicide pact, but they wanted to leave it so confusing that no one would
Yeah,
ever
that
know
seems
why.
way too far fetched.
That's just
seems
all
like-
of that's just flat out dumb. I think they went up there with pure intentions. Like they believed, whether or not it's really happening, they
Yeah.
believe something would happen.
Well, something did happen.
Something obviously did
Yeah.
happen.
So
And they
Well, it
believe,
did.
and they believe
Well,
something
they're
would
dead.
be shiny
yeah.
and bright, and maybe involving the spirits of fucking Mars, and maybe involving that UFO that was seen there
Yeah.
a few days before. And the UFO was seen above that hill,
right.
within the range that, not Toledo Pizza, but his underling said that they died.
Oh, Chris's favorite pizza, Toledo Pizza.
So Pizza and his men said
Starving.
that they died within this like 4 or 5 day time frame,
Right.
within which I believe, Madame D'Souza saw the UFO and her kids and other people in the neighborhood. So on top of everything else, there's an actual UFO sighting right on that spot.
There's
within that time frame.
Quite
That,
a
to
lot
me,
happening
is
here, yeah.
perhaps that might be the linchpin to this whole thing. Because
right,
if
maybe.
it was just like intentions in books and scraps of paper written down and them telling loved ones and friends coming forward saying, yeah, and they blew up a UFO on this beach, that could all still be like, whoa. But the fact that there were multiple eyewitnesses to a bizarre orange blue beam shooting flame haloed UFO
Right.
above the place where they were. Now, it could be the UFO just coming down and saying, ooh, some dead guys. Fuck. Let's get out of here. We don't want to get blamed. But they could have also been directly involved. And it could have been an accident. Maybe they didn't know. Also, human beings don't like radiation.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be.
Not a big fan of
I
the
will
old,
be. Who knew?
cancer beams, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again,
Or the shock of seeing something so celestial and epic,
Right.
to having their hearts filled with such benevolence and glory,
Hearts and
that
hands.
their hearts both simultaneously exploded, and the doctor was right. They had spontaneous, simultaneous heart attacks, 2 young, healthy men, because the joy and the glory of the unknown wonders.
So they like called an angel or something down,
they accidentally called a Martian angel.
Okay, cool.
And they
cool,
peaked.
Actually, that's
they had
dope.
to peak.
Do you think
You
a
have
Martian
to peak.
angel is like Patrick Swayze? Oh, R.I.P.
Oh, yeah.
You think he's a Martian angel?
Like with the specifically feathered hair from Dirty
Yeah,
Dancing?
yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I'm thinking Roadhouse.
Yeah, he's just giving people clay.
But every now and again, he can get Red Dawn tough.
He can. He
Oh,
can.
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roadhouse.
And Roadhouse is tough too, but Red Dawn's even tougher, I think.
Well,
I love
I-
Roadhouse. don't get me
They're
wrong.
both pretty tough.
I'm going to stick with my.
I want to see the 2
Station for the next
pod. Who's gonna win? Which Swayze
Roadhouse
will choose?
Swayze versus Red Dawn Swayze.
Oh, and then they're both found on top of a hill with a heart
Well,
attack.
Roadhouse Swayze
Yeah.
is going to tell you some Taoist fucking philosophy and fucking sidekick you, and fucking Red Dawn Swayze is going to pop out of a hole and fucking blow your guts out. It's
true, yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
but he
really
can't do
not
a
gonna be
round
fair.
kick.
But they both
can't
die
do a
in
sweet
they
round
both
kick.
die in the fucking mountain, dude. They both die in the mountain.
dying on the mountain.
They both
God
take the
damn it.
chip.
All right, well, I am sticking with my original hypothesis again of psychedelic astronauts gone awry.
I like to think
I don't even know what that
that
means.
our souls go into space when we die, and
Okay, cool.
it's all fucking friendship and love and bliss and orgies and pizza, and that these guys might have been accidentally killed, or maybe they peaked and they fucking saw the fucking Martian space angels or whatever they weren't supposed to see, but then they were cool and like, well, fuck, you fucked up, but get on board. The
All
party
right.
begins here.
All right.
And the ghost of Spuds McKenzie is right there on the
Oh,
ramp.
R.I.P. Spud
And it's
Spuds.
beckoning you into the eternal bliss of the unknown
I
void.
don't think any of our
Hallelujah.
younger listeners even have a point of reference for
I
Spuds.
know.
No.
I used to have like a weird Spuzz McKenzie thing. I don't even
There was
know
even
why.
a cartoon, I
He's
think,
the
for a
reason
while.
that I want to get like a one of those bull terriers because he's just so. Wasn't the target dog too? Is goddamn adorable. Anyway,
Fair enough.
dogs aside, Christopher, close us out. What do you think?
It is all drugs.
Okay, it's all drugs.
It's
Drugs and rock and roll.
Drugs and rock and roll.
Percent the LDS.
Okay, so is this like a Wasp concert gone awry?
Why
Why
Wasp?
Yeah, because Wasp.
They're
Why
like, we're
not?
gonna see Blackie Lawless acid.
Nobody
Yeah,
fucking
why would-
tripped balls to see shitbag early 80s, mid 80s metal. Why would you do
Oh,
that?
You guys wouldn't get like fucking
Wasp
with like
isn't
a Wasp
shitbag.
concert?
Listen,
yeah.
I have a soft spot for Blackie Lawless.
Morph, what the
Eat Me
fuck?
Raw, whatever. Fucking listen. They're
You say
charming.
eat me raw.
Yes, and if you're a Wasp fan, you understand what I'm
Fucking
saying.
Rob.
Suck me,
You
eat
fuck
me
like a
raw.
beast, but all right, cool.
But they kind of suck. Regardless, you're not going to dose yourself out.
Chris and I
Yeah,
that's a
no,
whiskey.
no.
officially disappointed
That's a whiskey
us.
Coke band moment.
Officially,
No, the only thing I think I know for sure is that they believed they could do a thing. They tried to do a thing. I don't know what the fuck happened other
Than that.
other than
other
that,
than a
right?
simultaneous heart attack, allegedly.
They obviously didn't bring a device this time because nothing
No,
exploded.
well, no, they
No, they had all
clearly
the shit
said they
written
thought
down.
they could do this without the aid of tech.
Yeah.
Regardless of where it goes in the paranormal spectrum, I do agree with what Chris is saying there. The evidence seems to indicate that neither were really qualified. Neither really seemed to have not just Tesla-style genius, but even like low-end MIT grad genius,
Right.
which is still fucking super brilliant.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe, they're a little big for their britches. Their paranormal britches might have been a little roomy in the backside.
Are you coming on my boat over here? You coming on board with me?
And well, what's your boat?
Psychedelic astronauts gone awry.
Oh,
I still don't know what that
okay,
even
all right,
means.
cool.
Absolutely. I think
like
that
it.
there's
All
fucking
right.
a crazy lot of things going on. And what I would love, so if any network wants to give us a TV show, is to fucking go down there, have some money, get fucking people that speak the languages, go through the archives and just see what did this book say, what did
The
the actual
book,
police
I know,
report
the
say,
book.
Yeah, the book,
what does
yeah.
all this say, and then put the final kibosh on it. You might not be able to solve the mystery de facto. The corpses are long since skeletalized and everything else, but you might be able to come up with 2 or 3 bits of really key information that just opens it wide open and be like,
Yeah, maybe.
93% chance that this is really what happened.
It
Yeah.
could be.
And that's what I would like to do.
I feel
Yeah.
like the stuff prior you can maybe figure out, but it's just like why were they bloated? Why was their skin like this?
Right.
Why was there a fucking this showed up? Was there an explosion in 30 miles? Who knew? Did somebody report something way out there? How did that it's all the after stuff.
Absolutely. It's the unanswered question.
Yeah.
Or if maybe if it really is just like a text of like different or some sort of like magical ritual well, like start with this, and then it gives you the whole step-by-step process of whatever to do. You know?
Well,
I mean,
if it's sad, if you do all this,
right.
a thing's gonna come down and it's gonna be the big explosion, hurt for whatever, and you're like, if it's just said this is what's gonna happen, you'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it really could just be that simple as being like, here's the magical steps to contact whatever you need to talk to on Mars.
But you're gonna die.
I would not be surprised if that is it. But it would certainly help if you knew like what you were supposed to take in a pill.
Right.
And last but not least, well, what's the deal with fucking Hermes? If a guy 4 years earlier with a lead mask and a strange pill dies on a fucking hilltop while trying to, and he wasn't even looking for UFOs, he was just trying to get the Dick Van Dyke Show into his fucking.
If he's a part of this scientific spiritualism or whatever they're talking about,
but.
Where they're using,
Was there like a cult that was just spreading among television repairmen and people that were doing like basic
electronic
to me like
they were using,
and they were recruiting the young
guys.
They
were using technology
through the union.
The union.
The occult labor
union. It very well could be that they are just a bunch of techno geeks, that are just like into this new technology.
Well, it's a burgeoning new technology.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, let's see if we can contact.
You're in a country that at this point is not highly electrified.
Yeah,
you're like you say, you're building these repeaters, which now that you explain it to me, make perfect sense. Where you're just trying to broadcast it deeper and deeper into what was. I mean, it's still lush and inscrutable, but back then, I mean, it was just vast, and just trying to give people little tastes of this connection and mass entertainment. You were really on a cutting edge, sort of like Silicon Valley, 25 years ago or whatever else. And these, so I can see these guys, wanting to make a profit and doing these things just to make a living, but also thinking that they're on the edge of this really cutting edge technology and then maybe mixing it with their other interests. And if they just met other people that either groomed them, because you almost think that there must have been some sort of cabal that was established in advance of the, I don't think these two guys started the group.
Right.
Maybe they did. That's another question would have to be answered.
It could be, yeah. I mean, again, not to bring up Parsons again, but if you go back to Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard and Aleister Crowley, they were mixing fucking science and magic all the time. That's what Parsons was doing. So
why separate
if
things
this is
when
just
you can use
something
different elements to help each other?
Yeah, if this is just something in the 60s that they're kind of like bringing up to whatever current day tech, and then psychedelic astronauts, man. God bless them.
I don't even know what that means still.
I mean, I guess they didn't make it. Or maybe they did make it. Right?
It depends on what making it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
If they cross that threshold and all of a sudden they're there, or they're just,
if they're in the glory zone.
Dead. Yeah, exactly.
Did they get to ride the magic whale? That's the real question.
I don't know, man. They may have just fucking had a horrible heart attack on top of a fucking mountain, and that was it.
It could have been literally like a smuggler coming down with a flashlight, and they fucking got so scared because it was
Could have been, they're like, oh no, and then bam, that's it.
Oh, ground display?
No, the ground display. Hey, that happens sometimes when you were trying to talk to the aliens or reach the devil. So there you have it.
Indeed.
Thank you for joining us for the Kryptonaut podcast. Where do we go from here? Oh, Patreon. Patreon.com/Kryptonaut podcast. If you check that out. Thank you all for your Patreon donations. It means a lot to us. Instagrams, Twitters, and Facebook. Be sure to check out our Facebook group. You know what? When you guys listening to this, go and post your ideas in the group about this episode specifically. Post up some links, whatever you got. If anyone's got any cool YouTube videos or whatever, put them up. Let's hear what you guys got to say about this.
Different theories. This is just it's so wide open.
Totally. And again, Instas, Twitters, and Facebooks. I think that's going to do it. And from our home to yours. We're talking to you soon.
Wow.
With love and life.
With love and life and light. Love, life, and light, right?
No, there was no light.
There was no three. There was only
light.
two of them.
Just two.
Love the life you
choose life that you live. Live the life you choose.
Dude, you literally say it all the time.
Choose love,
don't
choose
you remember?
life? No,
yeah,
what was
I
it?
don't say
choose love,
anything
choose
ever.
life?
I think that's what it was.
Something like that?
It definitely sounded like a George Michael song.
It sounds like something that my wife would. It sounds like something that my wife would have like in a sign, like in our fucking kitchen, like live,
like
laugh, love, or
sweet
whatever.
hanging from like twine.
Some bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
this is our
anyway,
kitchen. Doodly doo. Choose love. Doodly life.
Gather or whatever. She has one that says gather. Yeah, I'm like, don't fucking tell me what to do. We'll be talking to you soon.
Wow.
Gather. Don't tell me to gather.
You're dead. I'll protect my family with my
I will ungather.
rebel ways.
Scatter.
All right, I gotta go cough. We'll see you.